This is it. Don't get scared now. And did I mention in this new live show, I'm giving away $10,000 to one lucky someone? That's not true. I just blatantly lied to all of you. But hey, I hope you guys had a great Black Friday and a wonderful Thanksgiving with the family. This is fake money. We'll talk about that in just 1 second. But how the hell have you guys been? It's been 3 months. I think it might have been a little bit longer, but life has been crazy. It's been a bit hectic, a lot of different changes, a lot of ins, a lot of outs, a lot of what have yous. But nevertheless, none of that shit matters right now because it's just us against the system, showing that the human spirit is still alive while everyone else inches down the freeway in their middle coffins. And welcome back to a brand new Flick Pick live show. I'll keep it real with you guys. I missed you. And I've needed this break to find myself. And I feel like I'm back now. So is the audio good? Can you guys hear me? Can you hear my stupid voice? Good. All right. So without further ado, let's just make it like the good times used to be. Let's just talk about movies, or talk about the demise of movies in cinema in recent months, because damn, movies have gotten terrible, haven't they? Did you see the Marvels? We'll talk about that as well. But gosh, it's nice to have you guys back. I did miss you guys. I was getting that little tingly feeling down below. And that was you guys, tingling down below in my loins. And now I'm here to itch that scratch. Oh, dude, I don't even remember how to do this anymore. I don't even remember how to use YouTube. Okay, so first thing I want to announce is I got engaged. I know, it's crazy. This guy settled down. The guy who moves every 3.5 days finally settled down. Yeah, I proposed to my girlfriend last week. We had a nice Airbnb. It was magical. It was mystical. If ever that definition was true, it was to perfection. So yeah, if you guys follow me on Instagram or Facebook, I posted some pictures. Spoilers, she said yes. So thanks for everyone who said congratulations on those posts. I do appreciate it. But yeah, so life is going pretty good. I have been working a normal job for the last 6-7 months. I am a project manager for a company, and it's stressful. It's made me hate society more than I already do. But you know what? I like it. I think I'm pretty good at it. Probably not as good as I was at YouTube, but it's going well. And does that mean I want to retire from YouTube? No. I just needed a break. I needed that break to, I guess, prove to myself I could do my other normal 9-to-5 job. And now that I know I can do that, and I can do it well, I figured out a balance in life. That way I can keep making YouTube videos. Because I do miss this. I miss that creative outlet. I miss that other platform to talk about movies. The shit I can't do in everyday life, that's what YouTube has always been for. And that's what this has been for. So I don't know. You know what? Let's just talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. I hear trains in the background. Either way. All right, here it goes. Musty T Review says, glad to have you back. Thoughts on the Karate Kid news? That's the first question you're going to ask me after my triumphant return from the dark side of society. You want to talk about the fucking Karate Kid movie? You know what? I heard Ralph Macchio's in it. I heard Jackie Chan's coming back. I dig it. You know, Cobra Kai was sort of a guilty pleasure for me. I think the newest season wasn't the greatest, but I'm happy to see a new Karate Kid movie. I just hope it's good. George says, hey, John, glad to have you back. Any thoughts on Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor / Superman legacy in general? Are you excited for it? Well, first, let me say this. I'm going to preface your question with a little rant. I think I'm at a point in life, and I know this is coming from a guy wearing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles jacket, but keep in mind, this shit was sent to me. I have an entire room of swag that has been recently sent to me from studios. And I have a few really cool things I want to show you guys down here, but we'll get to that. Don't worry. We have time. But the thing about comic book movies lately, is it me or are they just progressively getting worse? Like a degenerative disease, like a cancer growing on society. They're not getting better. Like we peaked when it came to comic book movies. We peaked a long time ago. And now we're just on a downward spiral into a shit stain. I just can't believe some of the movies I've seen recently. I can't believe that those cost $200 million to make. And thousands of people worked on them. And then all the decision makers at the studio sat back in their comfy chairs and watched that piece of shit up on some test screening projector screen or whatever. And they said, you know what? That's good enough. Release it. That's what society wants to see. And I think we've proven them wrong, haven't we? Have you guys seen the box office results for movies recently? Hollywood was trying to crap shit into our eyeballs saying, hey, here you go. You want some regurgitated baby food put into a blender for easy mass consumption? Eat up. And we said, no, not today. Not today. So yeah, I think movies are like in a really bad spot right now, which kind of makes me depressed. And I think if for anything else, I took a really good time or a great break from YouTube at the what you could call the critical moment, my hiatus, I think, was planned subconsciously. I could just see the writing on the walls, and I was like, this is the time to step away. And now I'm back. So anyway, but don't share those opinions on Twitter or X or whatever it's called, because people will get mad at you. But then again, if you say the sky's blue on Twitter, people will try to correct you. All right, so what was the question? Oh yeah, Lex Luthor, Superman movies. You know, I have faith somewhat in this, but then again, James Gunn for me is hit or miss when it comes to comic book movies. If they don't put Lex in his mech suit finally, I'm going to be really disappointed. Nicholas Holt's a good actor, but it's not who I would cast. I know they want to get a young actor to play Lex. I get what they're going for, but I think after Jesse Eisenberg's abomination attempt at, or failed abomination attempt at playing Lex Luthor, I don't want to see that. Does anyone want to see a young Lex Luthor? No, I don't. George says, hey, John, glad to have you back. Any thoughts on Did I just answer this? Oh, Rocky90 says, nothing, who's been a member for 40 months. Well, thank you, Rocky, for your dedication. James Dosher says, hey, John, glad you're back. Hope you're doing great. Doing pretty good, man. No complaints. You know, life's been hectic, like I said. Some days I just can't even fathom going outside of my house. I have become such a recluse and such a homebody. Every time I go into society now, I just can't do it. I made a Black Friday video on Saturday. I just couldn't even leave my house on Friday. I had to wait till Saturday. But really, there was no reason to leave your house in the first place. And by the way, if you missed my brand new Black Friday Flick Trip video, it's over on the Flickpick channel right now. I just released that shit about an hour ago. So if you're bored or you want to show your support, go over there. Leave a comment. Leave a thumbs up. I really just talk about the death of Black Friday and how I have no willpower to leave my house. That's what it's become. The next one comes from... You guys are killing it in the questions. Hang on a second. Here we go. Z White says, Misty Dog. Also, is the wife Nikki? Yes, Nikki will be the wife. The Dark Mike has become a member. Thanks, the Dark Mike. Carter Lovejoy, how's it going, Carter, man? It's been a long time. Here it goes. Mr. Flickinger, welcome back. We missed you. Thoughts on Aliens, The Abyss, True Lies, and Point Break 1991 are finally coming to 4K. Congrats on the engagement. Well, thanks, Carter. It's nice to see that some of my favorite films are hitting 4K. Point Break especially gets both my nipples hard and tingly. I'm definitely looking forward to that. But really, when it comes to 4K transfers now, that's great that movies are hitting 4K. That's awesome. But now it's all about the transfer. Because if we get a bad transfer, keep in mind, they butchered T2 Judgment Day with their transfer. And if that's one of the best action films ever made and they didn't show it the respect that it rightfully deserved, I'm terrified for some of the movies coming out because they might look like really shitty transfers or whatever. Like the only movie I bought on Black Friday a few days ago was Heat for $8 at Best Buy. Only because I don't own the Blu-ray. I got rid of the DVD years ago, so I figured why not for $8. But I heard the transfer of this wasn't that great. So, but I don't care. I needed it, so now I have it. Heat's never been one of my favorite films. I like it. I respect it. I love me some Al Pacino, Robert De Niro. I even love that big bump on Val Kilmer's elbow. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's okay. But yeah, just the transfers of 4K movies kind of terrify me nowadays. But I'll definitely be buying Point Break. Bruce Cook says, how is the inspection job? I don't do inspections. I'm a project manager. So what that means is I deal with people and I facilitate the recovery process of people's homes after a disaster. So it's a never-ending, thankless job where there's always a problem. Even this week, even on the day I took off work, I took a day off, I went to Michigan to a nice Airbnb. I got like 17 messages from customers that day about all these problems that they're having, and there's nothing I can do. But it's just never ending. It's exhausting and tedious, and I think I've gotten to a point where I know how to compartmentalize that aspect of my life, and now I can sort of juggle that with YouTube and being a normal functioning member of society, whatever the hell that means. But yeah, it's going well. It's nice to have a little bit of consistency in life. And I think, if anything, that 9-to-5 job helped me learn how to become organized. So yeah, really, I just wanted, whenever someone says, why don't you get a real job? YouTube's not a real job. Well, I have a real job, and I also do YouTube. So now you can go fuck yourself. That's why I did it. Bruce Cook says, well, I just answered that from Bruce Cook. The next one comes from Gary Brooks. Hey, John, glad you're back, man. It's been... TK, I don't know what that means. Too long, and congratulations on your fiance. Things are getting magical now. Don't get scared. I'm no longer scared. You hear that? I'm not afraid anymore. And then some old man comes out with a trash can and a snow shovel, and I run back in my house and hide under my parents' bed. The 50% Doctor Who podcast says, John, I missed you more than you know. Well, I missed you too, more than you know. It's been a minute, man. And I do want to talk about a whole bunch of shit I have down here, all this swag from studios. Just trying to get free publicity. That's all they're trying to do, but that's okay. I'll take your free shit. But yeah, the first thing I want to mention real quick, and you guys are killing it with the questions, and I'm going to get to every single one of these questions. Don't you worry about that. But hang on. The first thing I got, because if you saw the money gun I shot at the beginning of this live show, that was from Dumb Money, a Paul Dano movie. And I liked it. I love movies based on true events that have a little bit of comedy interjected in them. And this was based on the entire GameStop phenomenon, which I was a part of. I bought some stock in GameStop, and then Robinhood screwed me over and wouldn't let me trade it. But anyway, fuck you, Robinhood. But yeah, they sent me a swag box here with some goodies. My favorite thing was the fake money. I'm not gonna lie. They sent me like little briefcases. They sent me this magical T-shirt right here with some kitties on it. Maybe I'll put that on for the next live stream. They sent me this little beanie here with kitty cats on it, a tie, and a blanket. And the thing I really enjoyed about Dumb Money the most was I liked that he did live streams. And watching him do his live streams down in his basement, it kind of got my juices flowing to come back to YouTube and do a live stream. I was like, oh, I remember doing things like that. Except I feel like my live streams were slightly better, and I had better lighting. And I didn't give financial advice, but what I do talk about is movies. The next one comes from Alejandro. How's it going, man? First, physical movies are going away. People aren't going to the movie theaters, and now we see less and less of our stepfather, John. Please be more consistent. Your kids need you, and congrats on the engagement. Happy for you. Well, thanks, man. Hey, listen. I told you guys I was taking a little break. I feel like I gave you a warning, and I took that break, and now I'm back. I told you guys. I've said this for years. I make YouTube videos when I truly want to be here. I'm not going to phone this shit in. I'm not going to be some disingenuous shill working for the studio just placating his audience. I'm not going to be that guy. I will tell you my honest opinion. I'm not here to appease anyone. I'm here for the sake of entertainment of the masses, and I'm here to entertain the people who want to watch my stupid face, okay? That's what I'm here for, and that's why I'm back. All right. The next one comes from the Dark Mike. Favorite movie of the year, Oppenheimer, because it brought back audiences and also sold out on 4K copies. The only film I watched more than twice. I watched Oppenheimer once. I would like to watch it again on 4K at home. Speaking of Oppenheimer, now, Universal has been sending me shit tons of Oppenheimer merch. I have multiple copies of Oppenheimer on 4K that they sent me. And now I don't know if they sent this to me because they've been sending me shit for years, or it's because I became a certified Rotten Tomato critic, whatever that means. But yeah, they've been sending me all kinds of goodies. So I got the 4K here. They sent me another copy of this. Maybe I'll do a giveaway on the next live stream. Look out for that. They sent me this awesome book, Unleashing Oppenheimer, which I'm really looking forward to looking through. And they sent me the vinyl, the score on vinyl, which I don't have a record player. I don't really have a way to play this, but I do like this, and I'm going to keep it. So maybe the next thing I'll get into collecting is vinyl. Maybe that's what I'll get into. Because if physical media is dying, well, I guess I'll just revert back to vinyl, something that's been around for 65 years. So... but to answer your question, my favorite movie of the year, I don't know. My anticipated movie of the year was to see Napoleon. Now, have I seen Napoleon yet? No, I have not. Am I proud to say that? No, I am not. But also, I've heard nothing but mediocre things about the movie. Now, keep in mind, I'm a sucker for historical epics. Gladiator is probably my top 4 or 5 movies ever made. Now, I'm aware that Napoleon is probably not going to be anywhere within the same universe as Gladiator. I understand that. But I was hoping just for a smidge of that. Just a little smidge. And listen, I know the story of Napoleon. It's truly fascinating. You got Joaquin Phoenix. Joaquin Phoenix? Yeah. Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah, God. To play Napoleon. And it's mediocre. Or at least that's what people are saying. Or at least some of the people I trust their opinions. Will I see it? Yes. I was going to go see it this week. And it was just a hectic week. Also, the unfortunate thing is there's a director's cut coming out to streaming. That might be in a month or whatever. So it's like, why would I go to the theater to see the bastardized version of the movie when I could just stay at home and watch the director's cut of it? Which, let's talk about that for a second. Is it me or does that piss anyone else off that they're releasing a shittier version in theaters that they want you to go pay for when the director himself is going to release a better version that you can just watch on Apple TV? I hate that. I hate that strategy. That utterly disgusts me deep down to my core. So I was hoping Napoleon would be my favorite movie of the year. I haven't seen it yet. Oppenheimer's probably in my top 2, but I'd have to sit down and think about it. There's also a handful of movies I have not got a chance to see yet that I want to. There's Iron Fist coming out, I think this December with Zac Efron, but I'm a sucker for pro wrestling, and it's based on that story, so I haven't seen that yet. That could be in a contender. JFlix says, "Hey, John, miss you, buddy. How's it going? How's life?" Hey, JFlix. Like I said, life's going okay. It's going very quick. I feel like I'm having multiple midlife crises every week. But other than that, I feel like I can settle. The sun has set, and I can finally rest looking out at my meadow. James Dozier says, thoughts on National Treasure movies with Nick Cage. I got the Blu-rays of them for Black Friday. What's the matter? Your father not going to enough school plays or something? I love me some National Treasure. Well, at least the first one. I think the second one kind of sucks. But the first National Treasure is phenomenal. Talk about a movie that was lightning in a bottle. And the funny thing about that was Disney had no faith in that movie and then it blew up at the box office. And I don't know if I'm just talking out of my ass right now, but I remember that coming out at a dead zone at the theater. There was like nothing else to see. And that's why that movie just took over. Or at least that's how I remember it. But I like me some National Treasure. Now, the Disney Plus show I watched 12 seconds of, and that's about all I could do. Upshot Music TV says, what memorable movies has your girlfriend introduced you to? Well, fun story. I had never watched all of the Harry Potter movies. I've seen probably 3 or 4 of them and bits and pieces of the rest. But we finally watched all of them this October. And I will say, I like most of them. I think some of them feel like filler. And also from a narrative perspective, I feel like the Harry Potter movies, you have got to read the books to truly fill in some of the gaps as far as character motivation and why they're doing the shit they're doing, or else a lot of it doesn't make sense and it feels very abrupt. Like, for example, the Half-Blood Prince. There's a lot in there that the movie doesn't tell you that would be really useful knowledge and information had you known it. And I was like, am I missing something? Was I not paying attention? And no, like there's always more information that you had to suck from the books to understand the movies. So Yeah, but overall, it was a magical experience. And I've definitely come to terms with being a Slytherin. I will say that. The next one comes from, by the way, these are my Nick Cage glasses. The Dark Mike says, do you agree with Stuckman on the state of the MCU and also streaming to blame for bad DVD sales? How would you change the state of the MCU? I've been saying that shit for years, man. That's not news. The MCU is dead, man. They have placated to the smallest niche audience that screams the loudest on Twitter, and for some odd reason, this same niche small audience who screams the loudest, gosh golly gee whiz, they're just not the ones buying fucking movie tickets. So rather than appease the small demographic of people who want to complain and cry about everything, now that same small audience, once you give them what they want, well, they don't spend fucking money on anything. No. They like to go online and cry. So what do I think about the MCU? It's dead. It's fucking dead. I mean, half the MCU movies that have come out recently, or at least the last couple of years, felt like made-for-TV movies. The story, the tone, the character motivation, just the dynamic, it just doesn't feel special. Like, if the MCU had ever started this way years ago, it would have never gotten to this point. We have gotten to the point where what I would qualify as a Disney Plus series finale are now being called cinematic blockbusters. And I just don't know if I'm wrong or if society has gotten to a point where rather than have a cinematic experience that's magic at the theater, we now just want content. And my thing is, if you just want to swipe on content, go take a shit and watch... What do I do? I watch what is this called again? Oh yeah, TikTok. I forgot the name of it. I'm sorry. Yeah, go watch TikTok if you just want content. It just feels like movies, or at least the magic of movies and quality stories, they're dying. And that's not news. I mean, I've felt that way for like the last 3 years, and people say, "Oh, John, you're just negative. You're just negative." And I say, well, have you seen the Marvels? And then if you say it's a good movie, then me and you are probably just never going to get along or agree on anything. And that's okay. I respect your opinion, even if I completely disagree with it. But what was the question? Oh, yes, the MCU. Yeah, it's kind of dead right now. I'm hoping it gets resurrected at some point. And you know what's really shitty? Our introduction to the X-Men was like an afterthought end credit scene in the Marvels. Yeah, didn't it look cheap? Like, that's not what it was supposed to look like. All right, the next one comes from Max Nugenbauer. Glad to see you again, John. Napoleon was good. Well, that's good to hear, Max. I've heard very different opinions on that. I mean, really, from the people I trust opinions on, they said it's okay at best. And that really made me sad. I was going to go see it tonight, but the thing with Napoleon is there's only 3 showtimes per day to go see that film. There's one at like 11 o'clock, there's one at like 4 o'clock, and then there's one at 11 o'clock at night. It's like, I got shit to do tomorrow, so I'll try to check it out this week. Murph says, Murph, John, you son of a bitch, welcome back. Well, thanks, man. Well, thanks, Murph. Good to be back. Jack says, love you, John. Do you think we'll have to resort to bootlegs to buy our physical media in the future? Q1 of 2024 will be a dark time. I think there's always going to be a niche. I think studios, or at least some kind of studio, will always obtain the rights to movies to put out like 4Ks or physical media copies, because there's always going to be a niche demographic of people who want to buy those. Keep in mind, people buy vinyl still, right? So people will always buy 4K, or at least I will. But then again, I don't know. Maybe we'll resort to that one day. But you know what I say? All the movies I love, all the great films, I own all that shit back there on the shelf. And unless you break into my house and shoot me in the head and take them from me, those are mine forever. I don't have to rely on a streaming service just to put them out one week and make them disappear the next week because the rights got reverted back to another studio or some bullshit. So I'm good to go. Matthew Castellona says, John, congratulations on your engagement. And was The Marvels better if it was straight to Disney Plus? Yes, The Marvels was a mediocre Disney Plus series finale. That's what that movie was. And to say anything else, I think would be a blatant lie. If you think that was the best a $200 million movie can look and feel, then there's something really wrong. Like, to me, that film felt like it was generated by AI and shot in someone's garage in front of a green screen over the course of 2 weeks. I don't even remember anything pivotal happening in that film. I'm trying to think back, and I can't. It just felt like an obligation by the studio to appease people. Avery A says, John, if you ever see in public, is it cool if I give you a high five? You can give me a high five. You can give me a hug. Whatever you do. I don't care. That's fine. Just be gentle. Jay Flicks says, congrats on the engagement, bro. Well, thanks, Jay Flicks. 50% Doctor Who podcast says, Nick Cage is filming The Surfer in my town in Western Australia. I hope the film is good for our sake. Congrats on the engagement. Well, thanks, man. I don't know anything about that film, but Nick Cage being in a movie, I'm there. Even if it sucks ass, I'll be there. I could eat a peach for hours. The next one comes from Night King 01. How's it going, buddy? John, you're live. Did you finally finish the bounty? Laugh aloud. How are you, my friend? I have not finished the bounty. It's on the to-do list, but I will at some point get back to it. I've started a new series called Yellow Jacket, so it's on Paramount Plus. It's kind of like the new version of like Lord of the Flies, I would say. But yeah, just trying to think. I've been watching a lot of like disaster based on true story movies. For example, I watched The Impossible for the first time the other night, and damn, Tom Holland was acting his ass off in that movie. That's a phenomenal movie. All right, the next one comes from Alex Carr, who says, hey, John, welcome back. The only good MCU movie over the last 2 years was Guardians 3. Ant-Man 3 sucked, and so did The Marvels. Yes, it did, and yes, it did. I was pleasantly surprised by Guardians 3. That, to me, was the last true MCU film that lived up to the hype. I really don't have any complaints on the film. I really don't. I thought that was a good movie. I did. I thought that was a good cap off to the Guardians trilogy. But that's because you had James Gunn, who isn't a yes man to Disney. So, Tommy Bullard says, miss your videos, man. Have you seen The Holdovers? I have not seen The Holdovers. I want to see it. It's on my to watch list. I've heard great things. Did you guys like The Holdovers? Night King 01 says, I watched Napoleon the other day. I thought it was good, but going in knowing that there is a 4-hour director's cut made so much sense because there are large gaps of the film clearly removed. The Battle of the Pyramids is just glossed over. 1 hour and 30-minute cutout. Yeah, I knew exactly what it was. I could, like, to me, I'd rather just wait until it hits streaming and watch that 4-hour cut. Like, just immerse me. Suck me into that story. Give me what I want to see. Not this glossed over bullshit from Hollywood. Claudio Rogajon says, welcome back, John, to the Vampire Brigade. John, congratulations on the engagement, by the way. Well, thanks for that, man. And thanks to all of you for that. Mike's Movie Talk says, thoughts on The Basketball Diaries with Leonardo DiCaprio. Oh, man, that's a dark movie. I like where he goes to the one dude's house and he has to lock him in the closet, and Leonardo DiCaprio's trying to suck dick for heroin on the street. Phenomenal movie. Highly recommend. That's Guy C, man. Thanks for the super chat. No question though. Zepsy Cinema says, would you be if Oppenheimer won Best Director? Would I be what? Why didn't you like Flower Moon? I loved it, but understand your opinion. Congrats on the engagement. Oppenheimer, I think Nolan should definitely be in the running for Best Director. It'd be nice. Flowers of the Killer Moon, Killers of the Flower Moon, whatever. Listen, I didn't love the movie as much as I wanted to. I understand the true story. And listen, when it comes to Scorsese movies, you're talking to the guy who loves it. I love that man more than life. Taxi Driver, one of my favorite films of all time. Goodfellas, Casino, Wolf of Wall Street, The Irishman. Yeah, I liked it, but definitely not one of my favorites. But it's not that I don't appreciate the true story of Killers of the Flower Moon coming to fruition, and it's not that I don't appreciate a slow burn. I truly do. If you want to go to a slow burn, like something like There Will Be Blood, for example, I think is phenomenal. But when it comes to Killers of the Flower Moon, the movie fails to make me care about the society of Native Americans who are being killed off. And listen, I don't want to sound like a sociopath, but hear me out for a second. The movie glosses over them. It truly does. It just cuts to them randomly being shot in the head, and it's almost done with like this weird, dark comedic effect at times. And then you get to the point where you're supposed to really care about them, and it's just they have like this void of emotion or expression on their face, and I never got invested with who they are. And I love the performances of like Leo, and you could see the writing on the wall from the first 5 minutes of the movie exactly where this was going. And it's sort of just, and I guess the best way to put it was, it's like going to someone's funeral. It's clearly sad and depressing, but I don't know who this person was, so it's hard for me to get emotionally invested. That's the best way I can describe that movie. And maybe that's an unpopular opinion. I'll stand by it. But I will say this. In 1 year, that movie will be forgotten. When it comes to the best Scorsese movies ever made, I don't feel like anyone's going to have it on the tip of their tongue to say it. I don't know. It was missing something. It was missing something. I don't know. I don't know what it was. And listen, I don't think I'm alone, because the audience I watched it with in a packed theater, no one reacted to anything. When the movie was over, I didn't hear anyone talk about it. Like, they just got up and left. Oh, okay, that was the thing we watched. Maybe I would have enjoyed it if I watched it more at home, where I could maybe get a little bit more immersed into it. I don't know. Something was missing. It was a misfire for me. I don't know. Maybe I'm a Philistine and I don't appreciate true art, because all I like is comic book movies, I guess. I don't know. The next one comes from, where are we at? Hang on. Give me a second. Mike's Movies Talk says, what's your top 5 Christmas movies? I got to go Home Alone, Home Alone 2, A Christmas Story, Christmas Vacation, and what's another great Christmas movie I need to put on this list? If you say Elf, I don't know. No fucking way. What's another Christmas movie I love? You know what? I qualify Hook as a Christmas movie, a phenomenal Christmas movie, you rude, crude bag of pre-food chew dude. So why don't you go suck on a dead dog's wet nose, you paranesium brain? So yeah, I would definitely say Hook. Those are my top 5 Christmas movies. And by the way, me and my lady friend, fiance, we're going to have a very special movie night where I show her Hook for the very first time. I know it's crazy. She's never seen Hook. All right, the next one comes from Christopher Butcher, who has become a member. Thanks, Christopher. A Splice of Pie says, speaking of MCU, they fired the writer for Daredevil, back to square one. Yeah, it seems like they're doing a lot of things and backtracking and then undoing things. And it's just like, why don't you guys put a plan together? Stop trying to placate to audiences who don't appreciate cinematic art forms and just want to be appeased and make quality entertainment again. We've seen clearly what studios are doing with films is not working. It's not working. Stop doing that. Okay, you tried. I get that you tried, but please stop. I don't want to get too political, but I will. Anthony Gonzalez says, December 5th, Point Break finally comes to 4K. Fuck yeah. I can't wait to buy it. Your name here says, welcome back, John. Congrats on the engagement. Glad you're doing well. As John Candy once said in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, like your job, love your wife. That's good. Man, that's a great movie. You know when people say, what is the best Thanksgiving movie ever made? And I just say, the only movie ever made for Thanksgiving was Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and that's all you need to know. Diego Cerna super chatted $5, but no question, but thanks, man. And if I'm missing anyone's question, I will try to get back to it. Things are flying by real quick. Jason Nelson says, glad you're back. What's the story with the jacket? This is just some swag shit they sent me for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'll show you what else they sent me. Hang on. I've been just stockpiling this shit for months now. So they sent me this book bag. They sent me like a t-shirt. They sent me some, they sent me some sweatpants. Should I put these on right now? Should I just put these sweatpants on right now? And a hoodie? Okay. Yeah, you know what's funny? I just now looked in this for the first time. I ripped out this jacket and I was like, that's good enough. So yeah, that's the story with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles jacket. Now, if you want to hear my quick thoughts on the movie, pleasantly surprised. I enjoyed it. There were some things I wish they would have done differently. But overall, as far as the kids go, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles being a little childish in this one, that was my biggest complaint with the trailers. Watching the movie, it was okay. You know, it kind of had like a Stranger Things vibe, but with Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I think going forward in the sequels, if they can age them up by like 2 or 3 years and give them a little bit more edge, I think I'll appreciate that. All right. What else was there? Oh, yeah. Let me scoot up here a little bit. Okay. A few other things sent to me over the last couple weeks was, we finally got this shit on 4K. That took long enough. James Cameron, come on, man. What are you doing? Pull your head out of that Avatar's asshole and give me the 4K physical copies of your films I want to see and society deserves. So yeah, 4K, Titanic. Haven't got around to watching it on 4K, but hey, I don't care what anyone says. Titanic's a phenomenal film, and it never gets old to me. I love it. That shit still holds up today. And then they sent me the Expendables. How many are there? 4 or 5 movies now. The newest movie came out. That looked like it should have went right to like a made for TBS movie of the week. Anyway, it had Megan Fox in it. I'll probably never watch it. But anyway, I have the Expendables on 4K, all of those movies. The only one I actually enjoy, I think the second one is the best, with Jean-Claude Van Damme just doing roundhouse kicks. All right, the next one comes from Claudia Rogajan, who says, Basketball Diaries why are we talking about Basketball Diaries today? Why is this the movie of the week here? Okay, Basketball Diaries is even more messed up when you find out it's based on a true story. Also, underrated Mark Wahlberg performance. Oh, Mark Wahlberg and Leo just play little crackheads in that movie, man. It's great. Yeah, based on a true story. I didn't know that. The Rap Party says, thoughts on Thanksgiving slasher? I didn't watch it. It just looked kind of like a junky movie to me. I mean, I don't know. When it comes to horror films, one based on Thanksgiving isn't what I want to see. But, you know, when it comes to slasher films relating to Thanksgiving, I think the Grindhouse trailer from Tarantino, the Tarantino movie, like 2007, Thanksgiving Day was the best. I love when the guy's ass, he looks like a turkey on the table with a turkey baster in his ass. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Do I sound utterly insane right now? Anyway, Thanksgiving. Night King 01 says, I feel like I'm going on a rant arguing for longer films. Why is this a criticism for movies that don't deserve it? Saying it's long is not a criticism. War and Peace is collectively 7 hours long, and those 4 films are amazing. Yes, indeed, man. I think society all just has ADD. And like I said, we're addicted to content. We cannot sit still longer than 90 minutes at the movie theater. That's just, so theaters, rather than make quality entertainment, are going to make 90-minute little pieces of content. And then you're in, you're out, and on to the next thing. Movies aren't made to be memorable anymore. Movies are made for the sake of coming there, watching it, and leaving. There's no argument. There's no conversation. We're not going to offend anyone. We're not going to push the boundaries of making you feel something. We're just here to give you some like regurgitated baby food that they spoon feed you very gently. Take your money and say, get the fuck out. We'll see you next week with another mediocre piece of shit that we're going to crap out into cinemas that you'll instantly forget that you watch. That's what movies are. That is what Hollywood has become. And once again, I'm not being negative. I feel like I'm stepping back and looking at it from a distance and going, oh, wow, I can see what's wrong. Why can't everyone else? I just want movies to be good. I want them to be great. You deserve them to be. Don't accept anything less than. You know, one criticism I've been hearing a lot lately when it comes to these mediocre pieces of shit films known as the Marvels is it wasn't terrible. Okay, what was it then? A criticism of saying it's not terrible for a film means it's terrible. I don't know how to tell you this. Am I crazy? All right, let's go to the next question here. But then I don't take this stuff personal. All right. Yes, I do. Doshi says, thoughts on Scream 7 firing and CM Punk back in WWE. Yeah, I think Jenna Ortega probably said, you know what? I want a real career in Hollywood. I don't just want to be this screaming queen who's in these mediocre scream movies that keep getting worse and they keep getting more convoluted. I think she realized this isn't good for her career of being like a real actress in like dramatic roles going forward. I mean, it would be easy for a cash grab to be in the new Scream movie and go to Scream 27, where her third cousin who lives in Idaho is the killer because one day he stubbed his toe and saw something on the ground, and now he wants to be a serial killer and throw his life away in this really convoluted plan where he dedicated 7 years of his life to culminating it just to fail miserably. But for some odd reason, they keep making those movies. What was the question? Oh, yes, Jenna Ortega not in Scream 7. I get why she doesn't want to be back. I get it. She wants a real career. She doesn't want to be just stuck in this horror franchise. CM Punk back in WWE? Yeah, I watched Survivor Series last night, and it feels like wrestling is back. It feels like we have stars again. It doesn't just feel like these kids playing in a wrestling ring wearing t-shirts. Like, it looks like you have, like, Randy Orton came back, CM Punk came back. It feels like the shit is getting real. And also, the thing I enjoy most about wrestling is the drama behind the scenes. It's not what's happening in the ring that excites me. It's all that shit happening backstage with the politics and the real life things. So I can't wait to see where this goes. I'm excited. Stephanie Myers, how's it going, Stephanie? Hey, John, glad you're back. Congrats on your engagement. Well, thank you. And I hope life is treating you well. Have you watched any classic movies lately? Thank you. Have I watched any classic movies lately? I watched Taxi Driver like 3 weeks ago when I was in the mood for a really good Scorsese movie. I watched that. That was probably the last classic movie I watched. I'm trying to think. I went to the theater and watched something else. Oh, I saw the new Hunger Games movie. I'll be honest with you. I enjoyed the first 2 acts. I actually think as far as like the quality of filmmaking goes and acting, I enjoyed seeing like a young version of Snow, because for me, the flawed character is always the truly fascinating, interesting character. I like a bad guy character, and I liked that backstory because he's not true evil. He's just this dude trying to play this part to fit in with other people. Trust me, I've been there. I almost relate to it more than I want to admit. But it's sort of like the Anakin Skywalker story. You know, he starts off good and he becomes evil. I think the third act of that movie, he looked like Eminem wearing a white t-shirt with a bleach blonde buzz cut. And then it felt like the third act of the movie just felt like this montage that was very surreal, and I didn't care about anyone's feelings, and it just abruptly ends. But other than that, I thought the first 2 acts were pretty good. The next one comes from Movies for Life. Yo, great to see you back, my man. If you didn't like Flower Moon, Napoleon is even worse. Epic disappointment. Fuck. Yeah, that's what it feels like. You know, if you told me I wasn't going to love the new Scorsese film, or if you told me I wasn't going to love the new Epic by Ridley Scott based on Napoleon with Joaquin Phoenix playing fucking Napoleon, I'd go, you're crazy. But that's where we are at. Palavith says nothing, but thanks for the super chat, man. Do good. Love T2, but rewatching Fury Road, in my opinion, is better. Well, I wouldn't go that far. I think Fury Road is one of the best modern day action films ever made. Definitely. I would put it up there. Looks damn good on 4K too, man. If you want your eyeballs just to have the most vivid experience, just put in Mad Max Fury Road. Just give it 12 minutes and your eyeballs will be oozing with enjoyment. Someone said Barbie was mediocre. Barbie was a movie just to have girls dress up in pink outfits and go to the fucking movie theater and take pictures for Instagram. They didn't care about the movie. No one talked about how good the movie was afterwards. They just wanted Instagram pics wearing pink at the movie theater. That's what that movie was. And from the standpoint of the studio, I think it was a brilliant decision. It's like the Twilight movies. Those aren't good movies, but people go out like a cult following to watch them because they want to have this like cult-like gathering. That's what the Barbie movie was, and that's all it was. But then again, do I get a man boner for Ryan Gosling? Yes, I do. Did I need to say band boner? Maybe. It's 2023. I feel like I had to clarify that. The next one comes from... I'm trying to get to the normal chat here, guys. I'm not trying to leave you out. You don't just have to give me super chats for me to respond to you, but I'm just doing my best to keep up with everything. Oh, here we go. Napoleon's battle sequences are pretty solid. It's everything else that's rough. Yeah, all the shit in between just felt like obligatory nonsense. I agree. Yeah, well, I can't agree, but that's what my assumption was. Claudia Rogajon says, speaking of audiences, ADD, could you imagine people today sitting through Lawrence of Arabia? That would be an interesting experiment. Also, are you going to see the new John Woo movie, Silent Night? It looks awesome. You know, the thing is, watching Silent Night looked like one of those other, like, instantly forgettable modern day movies based around, like, Christmas. Like, what was that one with David Harbour in it? Was that called like Silent Night as well or some bullshit where it's like an action movie set around Christmas? But then it had John Woo listed as the director, and I was like, okay, I'll give it a chance. So yeah, I'll definitely check it out. But yeah, I think people just are losing that conditioning to sit in a movie theater longer than 90 minutes. I really do. It's unfortunate. Night King 01 says, I think the 4-hour cut will fix a lot of the issues in Napoleon. Also, the final shot is hilarious unintentionally. Oh, that's not good. All right, the next one comes from, are you going to see Godzilla -1? Craig, from Craig Thompson. How's it going, Craig, man? You know what's funny about Godzilla -1? That movie came out with like no marketing. I didn't know that movie existed until 7 minutes before it came out to theaters. I'll probably check it out. I haven't really heard a lot of great things about it since it's been released, but then again, no one talks about movies longer than a day after they are released, which is really just...
Could you imagine people today sitting through Lawrence of Arabia? The interesting experiment. Also, you're going to see the new John Woo movie, Silent Night. It looks awesome.
Yeah, that's my robot, Mr. Belvedere. He will read your question out loud if it's over $10, I think. So yeah, but we already answered it, so thanks for the question, man. Christopher Butcher says, I missed your member chat. Oh God, man. Can you say it again real quick? This is moving really quick and I completely forgot how to keep up with the chat. It's been 3 months. Please forgive my sins against humanity. I will make it up to you on the next one. But if you are a member, and thank you so much for being a member, comment your shit right now and I will read it. If you're a member, comment right now. I'm looking at the normal chat right now. Eric Carter says, laugh aloud. I take it that John doesn't know why Jenna Ortega really quit the movie. I don't. I just assume things and I spit them out like they're factual. Tell me why she really quit. I don't know. I guess do I care? I don't know. Have I seen Fincher's The Killer? So Netflix sent me this. It's the soundtrack to the movie. I have not watched it yet. I'm trying to savor the flavor, but once again, I trust the opinions of a few people have told me about it. And keep in mind, this has been a very busy week for me. You know, I got engaged, I had Thanksgiving, I had family in town. A lot of people are saying it's a disappointment. And if David Fincher can't make a good movie and Scorsese can't make a good movie and fucking Ridley Scott can't make a good movie, what is happening? I can barely make a good YouTube video. So you know what? I guess I'm to blame as well. But I haven't seen The Killer yet. I do want to watch it. Did you guys like The Killer? Did it live up to your expectations? Jason Nilsson says, hang on. Ali Haiti says, thoughts on CM Punk's return last night? I talked about it earlier. I thought it was awesome. Something I never thought I would see in WWE again. And Randy Orton came back, man, looking all puffy and juiced up, man. TRT treatment is doing well for that man. He looked scary. I loved it. Diego Serna says, how many streaming services do you pay for? I can't keep up with them. Dude, I don't even know what I pay for, to be honest. I think I pay for Peacock. I might pay for like something else. But with my girlfriend's family or fiance's family, and we share streaming services, I couldn't even tell you. I really don't even know. I at least pay for 2 of them. But at some point, after spending $700 a month on streaming services, and it's just a whole bunch of shit you don't want to watch, you go, oh gosh, I'm glad I have all these movies back here I can just go to anytime I'm feeling desperate. Doshi says, have you shown your fiance in your past videos? I think. Yeah, I think somewhere. Follow me on Instagram, man. Follow me on Instagram. Sal says, "Hey, John. Great to see you again. Hope all is well." Well, thanks, Saul, and good to be back. Jason Nelson says, "Hey, John, we've missed you, man. I was thinking game over, man. Do you like those videos such as 10 things you missed in X movies? Happy holidays." Well, thanks, Jason. Thanks for the super chat. So do I like the YouTube videos where it's 10 things you missed about 7 things you never knew, and now I'm going to point 5 red fucking arrows with 7 circles around this thing in the background that doesn't actually matter in this video whatsoever? Do I like those videos? At one point, I didn't hate them, but I think the genre has gotten tedious and tiresome and stale. I think reaction videos have gotten tedious, tiresome, and stale. I think ranking every movie has gotten tedious, tiresome, and stale. Really, I don't know. I'll tell you the thing I watch the least amount of on YouTube. And I'm not trying to crap on my friends who make YouTube videos. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just telling you from my personal viewpoint and my perspective. The thing I watch the least amount of on YouTube is movie-related content. It's just the truth. I watch everything but that. Because for me, when it comes to movies, I just want to go watch the movie. And if I decide to talk about it with my own experience, I will do so. But watching reviews on YouTube, I don't do it. I really don't. And if I told you some of the things I watch on YouTube, you'd be like, "John, you are one boring motherfucker." Like, I watch guys who renovate houses for a living. I watch guys who go to yard sales. I watch a guy who owns a car lot. These are the things I watch on YouTube. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I still love movies. I don't know. Joey Ruiz, Lord of the Rings, says, "Just got here. Did you see Killers of the Flower Moon?" I did. I think I talked about that earlier for a solid 5 minutes. Did not love the movie as much as I wanted to, even though some people will call me a hate monger for not liking it. And then I say to those people, "Well, what did you like about it?" And they go, "I don't know. It was good." And then I go, "Okay, thank you for those in-depth thoughts." Zepsy Cinema says, "Didn't Oppenheimer give you a glimmer of hope that audiences want something long, unique, and not MCU crap? $900 million. Sorry, I talk about Nolan a lot." No, I liked Oppenheimer. Is it my favorite Nolan movie? Probably not even close. But I did quite enjoy it. There's a few things in Oppenheimer I wish they would have dove into a little bit more, especially about the creation of the atomic bomb. I thought there was more I thought when it came to the science of that, they could have went a little bit deeper. That's my major complaint with that. But I did see that movie in IMAX. I would say watching it on a big screen. And by the way, when it comes to Nolan, why is the only marketing tactic for that guy anymore, "Watch his movie on the biggest screen possible"? What's it about? That doesn't fucking matter. Watch it on the biggest screen possible. Who is in it? Watch it on the biggest screen fucking possible. Like, that's all it is anymore with Nolan marketing. Just watch it on the biggest screen possible. And I say this, I'd probably rather just watch it at home with no one around me. But I did see that movie in IMAX on a huge screen. I saw it on a legit IMAX screen that's 5 stories tall. But man, oh man, the seats sucked. It was packed, and I was dead center in a row that seats 250 people. So I had to hold my pee for 3 hours during that movie because getting up, walking past everyone, keep in mind the aisle was literally smaller than like an airplane aisle seat was. Like, you had to walk on top of people's lap. So that made for a slightly unpleasant experience. And I think next time I go to that theater, I will definitely wear an adult-sized diaper so I don't have to get up. But yeah, I enjoyed the movie. I got it on 4K. I will probably watch it the next month or so at home. The next one comes from Big K Movies and Games. What's your favorite WWE video game, John? No Mercy, bitch. It's No Mercy. And let me tell you a quick story about No Mercy that came out, was that 2000, 1999, 2001? It came out around then. It was No Mercy 99, wasn't it? I think so. It was like October 99 when that came out, right? So anyway, my mom got me that for Christmas, and I knew I was going to get it in about a month for Christmas. But what I did, because I couldn't wait and I was a piece of shit, I snuck into her room, I took a razor and I cut open the packaging to No Mercy that was on N64, and I slid it out. I put my copy of WrestleMania in there, another WWE game, and I taped the edges shut. And on Christmas morning, after playing the game for a solid month and unlocking everything and beating the game multiple times, I acted so surprised. That was a great Christmas memory. Anyway, Mega YouTube 99 says, would you ever consider going on Friday Night Tights? I guess. I don't know. It's not like a goal of mine or anything. But at this point, sure, why not? K Audi Munda's throbbing head says, missed you, pal. Happy to see you back. Well, I'm glad to be back, man. Okay, I missed a whole bunch of questions here from people. Let me go back and read them. Hang on. Let's go slow, but not too slow. Here we go. Alex Carr says, guess Jenna Ortega quit because of scheduling conflicts with Wednesday. Yeah, or she blatantly lied just to say she didn't want to be back for the franchise. Isn't that the nice political way of saying you don't want to come back? Scheduling conflicts. It could be true, but it sounds made up to me. The next one comes from Michael Flores. What's up, John? Missed ya a lot. How was your Thanksgiving? And congratulations on your engagement. Yeah, good, man. It was all good. Went to a nice Airbnb up in Amish country. Had a hot tub. Had a huge bathtub. It was just a nice set scenery. It made me want to live out in the woods. You know the movie The Village, directed by M. Night Shyamalan? Hear me out for a second. I wouldn't mind living in such a place. And if I have to keep people there by pretending there's giant monsters in the woods, then I'll do it. Did you ever watch Five Nights at Freddy's? Fuck no, that looked like shit. And everyone, and even the fans of Five Nights at Freddy's said it was pretty much shit. There's only so much time in life, and I can't just watch every bad movie that comes out. If I assume it's going to be bad, I'm just gonna keep it that way. Life is too short. Dave says, yo, John, congratulations on the engagement. Since we didn't see you on Halloween, what's your favorite horror movie that came out in 2023? Oh, man. Oh, God. I don't know. I did watch... I'm sorry, I cannot remember anything right now. It's been a while. There was a movie that we watched on Hulu, and I think it was like a made-for-Hulu horror film. And it was about this like kid, and there's like a little girl that lives in the room next to him, and his parents are kind of weird. It's got Homelander stars in it. Can someone help me with what movie I'm talking about? Someone remind me of what this movie is. It has like a really generic title. It was on Hulu. I'll wait till someone says the title of the film. Evil Dead Rise, I was not a big fan of. I don't think it was terrible, but definitely no rewatchability. Thoughts on Beetlejuice? I'm looking forward to it. I like me some Michael Keaton, man. Hey, come here. Hey, what are you doing? Come here. Hey. Yeah, I love me some Beetlejuice. Cobweb. Yes, that's the movie I'm referring to. Thank you. Yeah, you know what? You see, the thing about the movie Cobweb, and I do want to talk about this movie, I would recommend watching the first 2/3 of it, because it's actually like a surprisingly decent little horror film. I'm like, ooh, it's suspenseful. It seems well made. I like the acting. There's a mystery here. I buy into this shit. And then when you figure out what the mystery is, you go, that's everything wrong with horror films right there. They just did it. They did exactly what they shouldn't do. Just shitty CGI. So bad. But the first 2/3 are pretty good. Unpopular opinion, I thought Five Nights at Freddy was really good. Well, you know what? Then I'll give it a chance. Maybe, probably not. But I'll look into it. Talk to Me. I did see Talk to Me. I liked the concept of it. I think there was a little more they could have done with that. I liked how gruesome and brutal it became. I don't really remember my big negative with it. I don't remember. There was something with the movie Talk to Me. I did a quick reaction to that movie on Instagram. I'm trying to remember my issue with it. It was fine. It was a fine. If you watched it at home during October, I think it's a fine horror film. Michael Flores says my wife's favorite line in Beetlejuice is "chew on a dog." I don't even remember that line. My favorite scene in Beetlejuice is when they go to the waiting room and you got the skinny little guy there and he's smoking a cigarette. For some odd reason, I just feel like they would never do that again in movies. John, is Da Vinci Code to overanalyze as a conspiracy film? I think there's some conspiracies to be analyzed within that film, sure. Saul X. Okay, here's the thing about Saul X. Some of the traps I thought were pretty cool. I definitely thought they jumped the fucking shark. And what I mean by that is, if I'm tied up and you're telling me the only way I can live is by drilling holes in my head to pick out parts of my brain to put into a platter, and once that little tray of brain matter weighs so much it releases me from my constraints, I'm just going to say, okay, I'm dead. I'm not going to try to fight this, because no matter what, I will have a hole in my head and parts of my brain are missing. Do I want to live beyond that point? The thing with the Saw franchise is it's not just cutting off your finger to live to learn a lesson or something. You literally have to decapitate yourself and then crawl 3 miles to live. And I'm like, well, I don't want to live without my head anymore, Jigsaw. I think you're pushing the limits anymore. John, you once jaywalked in 2003, and now you have to cut off your legs to prove yourself. Live or die, the choice is yours. It's like, fuck you, man. It's like, it's not my fault you had cancer and you're taking it out on everyone. What an asshole. Anyway, let's get to the next question. Big K Movies and Games says, what's your favorite WWE? Oh, we already answered that. Fried Fish is Tasty. That's a great name. Randomly remembered you today and watched the last live show from 3 months ago, and you made your comeback stream tonight. Crazy how things work. Isn't that bizarre? We live in a matrix. That's all. It was programmed into your head. We live in a matrix. I'm just telling you right now. I know I sound crazy, but we really do. Sometimes things work out too perfectly, and people call that coincidence. No. I call that good programming. AI generated that thought for you to watch that live stream earlier, and guess what? It knew I was going to make one later. So here I am now. Do I sound crazy? Yes, I do. Call me Neo. Michael Flores says, what do you think about Insidious the Red Door? Atrocious. So boring. So bad. Such a waste of the Insidious name. Taking off work tomorrow? You should. No, I took off most of this week. So I'm going in tomorrow. The thing about my job that I have, though I technically have a 9-to-5 job, I have a very flexible schedule. So I can either work really hard and go where I want to go, or I can work from home, or I can go do something for an hour and then come back home, and it's very flexible. So I don't have to go sit in a cubicle or anything like that. So no, I'm not taking off work tomorrow, though I wish I was. Maybe I'll just quit and come back to YouTube. It would be so much easier. All right, guys, I'm going to answer a few more questions. But first, if you guys want to get as many questions, I'll rewind. I'm going to answer a few more questions, and by a few, maybe 25 more questions. But if you have any questions right now, get those in right now. I'll make sure to answer all of those. And then I'm going to show you some more cool shit that was sent to me over the last couple of weeks. Oh, that's not it. Hang on. All right. Another thing that was sent to me was this secret briefcase with my face on it. And then it was for Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. And they sent me like a cool t-shirt. They sent me like this little snap juice pack mini charger thing for my phone. Actually, that would have been really useful the other day. But most importantly, what they sent me in this big briefcase was Dead Reckoning on Steelbook, 4K, baby. And I do want to talk about that movie since I never got a chance to. Now, I quite enjoyed Fallout. I would say that and Ghost Protocol are probably my two favorite Mission Impossible films. Dead Reckoning, I think I had a lot of good sequences in it, but it felt like a movie just with good sequences in it, and everything in between that felt kind of bad. Like, this felt very discombobulated as far as like the tone goes. Like, the movie opens up a certain way, and then in the next scene it's like comical, and then in the next scene it's overly serious and surreal. It was just all over the place. And I didn't hate the experience of watching this. There was a scene with a train falling off a cliff. I thought that was awesome. I thought that, like, the way they shot some of this stuff where it feels practical because Tom Cruise is utterly insane and he drinks baby blood to stay alive forever. I appreciate those things. But what I didn't appreciate was the lackluster story and the terrible antagonist in this film known as AI. Because basically, AI in this film is the villain. And I think that's an interesting concept, but the way they showcase it was so on the nose and bad. For example, like, whenever they want you to know there's a looming threat in the background with AI, like there's a techno nightclub party, and then on the screens, they have this like pulsating evil face going, and that's supposed to be the evil AI, because AI to show itself would make some 1999 CGI graphic to be on some screen in the background to let you know it's lurking around. And then they have this one guy who looks like George Clooney, but not George Clooney. And he's like the face cult leader of this AI group. And he's like fighting Ethan Hunt on top of a train. And I was like, this feels really odd and bizarre. So anyway, those are my complaints with the movie, but the Steelbook looks really cool. And I would watch the movie again, but damn. The weakest villain of any of the what am I talking about? Mission Impossible movies. Thoughts on Batman 2? Hell yeah. I don't know much about it. Has anything been confirmed? All right, let's answer a few more here. What do we got? Mega YouTube 99 says, "Where's the energy drink yet?" The energy drink's right here, man. I keep it real. It's right here. It was hiding down here the whole time. Yeah, this is a Alani. It's pretty good. Tastes like a slushy. Night King 01 says, "By the way, War and Peace is an amazing movie. It's technically one movie in 4 parts, but it's on Criterion. Largest battle ever filmed and longest at over an hour long. 10,000 extras. Well, thank you for those flick facts, Night King 01. I've seen the movie. It's pretty damn good. Claudia Rogajan. Actually, hang on. What did you just say? War and Peace? Hang on. I forgot there's a few more movies I wanted to show you. Did I mention I got Godzilla on 4K Steelbook? Let's just go to the next one. I got Guns of Navarone. I've never seen this. Speaking of classic films. I got Black Hawk Down on 4K Steelbook. It's been a while since I've seen it. Always enjoyed it. And then I'm not a big Star Trek fan. Like, I like the J.J. Abrams Star Trek. But I got the Star Trek The Picard Legacy Collection. Look how big this thing weighs. 83 pounds. I'm not gonna, like, that's literally how much it weighs. 83 pounds right here. I'm holding a cinder block. So this is pretty sexy. Now, my stepdad is sort of a nerd for Star Trek, so maybe I'll make that a Christmas gift for him. All right, the next one comes from Claudia Rojan. Favorite Jackie Chan movie other than Rumble in the Bronx? Ooh, that's a good question. I'll tell you my biggest guilty pleasure Jackie Chan movie. How's that? And that might be Shanghai Nights. Billy M says, didn't you go full-time on YouTube in 2014-ish? I went full-time on YouTube in, I would say, early 2014. Yeah, and it was scary because I could barely do it. And then one day, Well, the reason I wasn't making as much money as I should have for like a year or two on YouTube was because I was under Machinima's umbrella. And if you don't know what Machinima is, they were a multi-channel network who owned a lot of different YouTube channels and took a very large cut of their ad revenue. And come to find out, they were taking like 80% of my ad revenue. So every time I got a check from YouTube, I was like, oh, it's $100. Cool. And then once I left them in early 2014 and joined another network, I started getting 90% of my earnings. And I went, oh, I can do YouTube for a living now. So yeah, it was definitely early 2014. I started doing YouTube full time. Shrey Galati. You know I can't read. Hey John. Hey John, what are your thoughts on Kate Hudson? I don't know. She's fine. Is there something I'm supposed to say that's new and topical about Kate Hudson? A Splice of Pie says, thoughts on The Creator. Also, did you watch Gran Turismo? I loved it. You know what? I have Gran Turismo back there on 4K, or I think it's Blu-ray. Hang on. There's all kinds of shit I got to show you guys. So I have Gran Turismo. They didn't put that shit out on 4K. I've been meaning to watch this. I've actually heard it's decent. And then speaking of 4K movies, I got Blue Beetle on 4K. This is probably one of the most generic, watered-down comic book movies that should have come out in 1997. I know this was made to be a streaming movie on HBO Max. I understand that. But it doesn't even feel good enough to be that. Okay. My thoughts on The Creator. I think going into The Creator, I was really hyped. I think the concept was everything I wanted to see in a big futuristic sci-fi film. But man, John David Washington, I don't know what it is with him. Like when I watched him in Tenet, I thought he was just trying to be a very subdued guy. And then when I watched him in The Creator, I was like, this guy is just a void of charisma. Everything that made his father so charismatic and memorable and chewed up the scenery in all of his films, none of that translated to John David Washington, who thinks he's trying to do this very subtle, understated performance where he's very somber when he talks. And I think maybe that's his way of feeling like that's a cinematic performance. But for me, he was so dull as the main role in The Creator. And then you watch the film and you're like, wow, this is kind of generic. Like everything they're going, every place what they're doing, it didn't feel special. It didn't feel new. It just feels like a movie that we've been there, we've done that, but they repackaged it as something else. And I thought there was so much more they could have explored and they just didn't quite do it. We got like this surface level version of it. So yeah, I think The Creator could have been one of those movies that would have been better as like a series, like on HBO Max or Netflix, like a high budget sci-fi series where they could have explored these worlds that they're going to. But you don't get any of that. You don't get any of that depth or substance. They just go to another place, to another place. It's like, okay, what are we doing here? Can we like look around for a minute? It felt so surface level. But then I saw the movie like three months ago. So those are my thoughts on it. Claudia Roguejohn says, Shanghai Nights is not bad, John. Watch it again. It's bad, but I don't hate it. Mega YouTube 99 says Oppenheimer 4K Steelbook is going for up to $200 on eBay after selling out at every Best Buy. Good sign for physical media. No, going the vinyl route. No, that's cool, man. I'm glad there's a collector's market. It's probably going to even increase more and more over the years once they stop producing new copies of movies. All those movies back there on my shelf, that's my retirement. It'll be worth $7 by the time I'm 72 years old. Oh, they did at least release Gran Turismo in 4K? All right. I think the Blu-ray will do then. Training Day on 4K is damn good. I would have bought that again had I not just watched the movie like a week ago. Because I keep saying, can I just say lady friend? I don't like the word fiance. I don't know why. It sounds so pretentious. But she had never seen Training Day. So I was like, oh, you got to watch this Denzel Washington movie. And I forgot how, like, I've always loved Training Day, but watching it again recently, it just blew me away even more. I was like, damn, this is good. This is what movies should be. Every scene is damn good. I'm putting cases into all of you. Like, damn, that's good. That's cinema. The Pigeon Lady is waiting for you, John. Don't talk. We'll talk about the Pigeon Lady when it comes closer to Home Alone time. Faisal Haiti says, hey, John, have you seen the Art Feist Girl? No, I have not. Doyle's Status says, welcome back, John. John the Legend, please get a Letterboxd account so I can follow you and read your thoughts on films you see. Have an awesome Christmas. Well, thanks for that, man. I'll probably never get a Letterboxd account. I just put my thoughts on YouTube or Instagram Reels, or now I'm a certified Rotten Tomatoes critic guy. So I might start utilizing that a little bit more now. And put my thoughts there, and I'll probably be canceled in the next month. But either way, that's where my thoughts will be. All right, let me scroll back here, make sure I didn't leave any. Oh, Bruce Cook says, Dead Reckoning's villain sounds like Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. It basically was. It really was. That's basically what that fucking movie was, man. I could only imagine they're going back and redoing some things for Dead Reckoning Part 2. I bet they are going back and correcting some of those issues. All right, the next one comes from, let's answer just one or two more questions. Laughing my ass, John. A site lists your net value at $77 million. Listen, if I'm worth $77 million, tell me who I have to sell my body to obtain that money. What do I have to do? Okay? I'm probably worth $77. Okay? All right, let's go to the next one. Claudia Roguejohn says, last time you watched Shanghai Nights was 20 years ago by your own admission. Oh my God, how do you remember that? You're a savant. Anyway, come and watch it and come back and tell us your thoughts. I just remember little Aaron Johnson plays young Charlie Chaplin. Hello, good day. I love it, man. B. Torres says, much love, Flick. Would you rather have very long arms with Oompa Loompa legs or very long legs with T-Rex arms? Ooh. I might go with the long arms. No, then again, if I'm short, I can't be taken. No one will take me serious. I'll probably, you know what? But long arms are useful. Yeah, you know what? I'll be built like a chimpanzee. I will have long ape-like arms. That's fine. I can live with that. That's fine. The White Skull says, I missed you so much. Well, I missed you too. Oh, yeah. All right. One more question here. Night King 01 says, I wonder when the next stream is. That's a great question. And let's leave it here. We're going to do these once a week. We're doing them once a week from now on. What day will that be that week? I don't know. It could be Sunday. It could be Tuesday. It could be Wednesday. I don't know. But I will do one of these a week. And then if I don't do one, I will let you know. Alex Carr says, one thing I was wondering, is there no way Wonka can be more bizarre than Johnny Depp's movie can be? Yeah, you know, when it comes to Willy Wonka, the only one that matters to me is Gene Wilder's. If you don't go to the 70s Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, there's nothing else matters. You know, the new one to me looks like it's going to be sort of glossy, but the movie Raider says, John, has anyone ever told you you sort of look like Nick Lachey from 98 Degrees? Oh, Nick, what's his name? I don't know. Lache? I don't know. The guy married to Jessica Simpson. Nick Lachey. There it is. I knew I could read that. I've heard that once. Thoughts on biopics? I love biopics. I love films based on true stories. They just resonate a little more deeper emotionally to me because I'm like, oh, that's real. Someone felt that anguish, and now I can feel it too. Congrats on the engagement. Thanks for that. All right, yeah, but anyway, we'll start doing live streams once a week. As far as dedicated movie reviews, I don't know. Like I said, I love the live streams, but doing dedicated videos, just, I don't know. This to me is unadulterated. It's pure. I don't have to hide behind editing. I'm just saying whatever comes to my mind. I can't whittle it down or filter it or edit it. So that's why I enjoy the live streams. Why? Because they're not disingenuous and they're honest. Night King 01 says, you missed my $5 when I sent. Damn it, Night King, what was it? Did I just not answer it? Oh, Night King 01 says, which War and Peace? I'm talking about the 60s Russian film. It's actually on YouTube for free. Check it out if you're lazy like me and don't want to pull out the disc. Well, thank you. Please start an email list, John. YouTube doesn't notify the followers. Well, you know, that's unfortunate because I've noticed on YouTube lately, it's like nothing ever gets better on YouTube for some odd reason. I've noticed that you can't even just click your sub box. First, it gives you recommendations. Then you have to click another box to show your subscriptions. The first thing that pops up is recommendations. No, YouTube, the first thing that pops up should be your sub box, your sub list of everything that you've already subscribed to because you took the time and pushed the button. So why are you putting that second and just putting recommendations first? To me, that's sort of disgusting. Anyway, so yeah, if you want to follow me, click that stupid bell notification. Follow me on Twitter or X or whatever that shit's called. I just call it the place where little boys want to go and cry about their feelings. And then also follow me on Facebook, I guess. I don't know. But I will try to announce these ahead of time by a few days. Your live streams are badass. Well, thank you for that. Did I see The Marvels? Yeah, best movie of the year. A+, 5 out of 5. Gee golly gee whiz. Marvel's back. Hang on. Who is this? Disney? Is my check in the mail? Got it. Thank you. And I stand by everything I just said. John, because you listened to you, I found this one. Oh, thank you. Night King 01, also good night. Feisty Manx says, hi, John. Good to see you rewatch Oppenheimer or have any good plans to. Congrats on the engagement. Thanks for that. I will probably rewatch Oppenheimer in the next month or so because the snow is starting to fall. It's getting cold outside. The air is brisk. And when that happens, that's when I come back to YouTube and that's when I hunker down and just rewatch movies over and over again to find my happy place. But the next movie night I'm going to have is Hook. Because why? The Christmas season is upon us. And I want to go back to Neverland. I want to watch Robin Williams with his hairy arms wear tights and fly around. Good to see you doing good in life and maturing. I personally feel stuck in a rut, but hope to get moving on with life like yourself. Don't worry, man. You got time. You got time. I was in Vandalia, Michigan, up in Amish country. That's where I stayed at an Airbnb. All right, guys. So anyway, I want to say thank you guys. Sorry it's been 3 months, but I was just finding myself trying to get used and acclimated to a 9-to-5 job like a normal person in society. And once I got there, I realized I'm not quite normal, and let me do both because life is too short just to stick to one thing. So anyway, guys, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I hope you enjoyed your Black Friday. And speaking of Black Friday, I would say Black Friday feels dead, but if you want to watch my Black Friday video, hop on over to the Flickpick channel, watch my new Black Friday video, leave your thoughts, your feelings right there. I will read the comments. As always, guys, thanks for watching. And Michael Flores says, hey, John, I'm a bad dad because my son loves Silent Hill games. That's okay. That's fine. I think you're a fine father figure as long as you don't lock your kid in the basement and make him eat raw meat. That's my motto. As always, guys, stay safe, have a good night, and I'll see you next week with another live stream. Bye-bye.